What's the very first thing you should do if your spouse dies before you? Most people don't know. And when that moment comes, it's easy to feel completely lost, full of sadness, confusion, and having to make decisions you never thought you'd face alone. The truth is, no matter how strong your marriage was or how long you were together, losing your spouse changes everything. It shakes your world, leaves a deep silence in your home, and gives you a list of things to do when just getting out of bed feels impossible. Now, this video isn't about paperwork or what to say at the funeral. It's about what you need to do first for yourself, emotionally and practically. It's about how to survive those first hard waves of grief. We're going to walk through 6 simple but important steps that can help steady you during one of life's hardest times. These aren't cold instructions or advice from people who don't understand. These are things real people, just like you, have found helpful when they were going through it. And while none of them will take the pain away, they can help you feel a little less lost, a little more supported. If your spouse passes away first, and I hope that day is many, many years off, you need to know what to do, not just to get by, but to eventually live again. Please stay with me until the end. The 6th point is something most people never even think about, but it can shape how the rest of your life unfolds after loss. Let's begin. Number 1, you have to feel before you try to fix anything. When your spouse dies, it's not just quiet. It feels like the world has gone numb. The little things you shared, the daily routines, the sound of their voice, even the way they walked into a room, are suddenly gone. And the silence left behind isn't just around you, it's inside you too, heavy and hollow. In those early days, there's a strong urge to stay busy, to make the phone calls, sign the papers, plan the service, to do something, anything, to avoid feeling that full, heavy weight of loss. But here's the truth. Before you do anything else, you need to let yourself feel. That doesn't mean falling apart or crying in front of everyone. It just means giving yourself permission to grieve, without guilt, without rushing it, and without thinking you have to hold it together all the time. There's no right way to mourn. There's no deadline for when the tears stop or when the house starts feeling less empty. What matters is that you don't shove your feelings down and pretend they're not there. Because when you push grief away, it doesn't disappear. It just hides. And when it comes back later, it can hit even harder. Some folks think they have to be strong and not show emotion, especially for their kids or grandkids. They say things like, "I have to keep it together," or "he wouldn't want me crying." But strength doesn't mean silence. It doesn't mean holding in your tears so others feel more comfortable. Real strength is being honest about your pain. It's showing how much that person meant to you and how big the hole is now that they're gone. Think of someone like Evelyn. She was 81 when her husband passed. They were married for 52 years. That first week, she kept busy, cleaning closets, running errands, saying she was fine. But late at night, she'd sit and stare at his empty chair. Not because she missed the conversations, but because she was pretending not to. When she finally let herself cry, really cry, something shifted. The pain didn't go away, but it finally had a place to go. You are not broken because you're heartbroken. You are not weak because you can't get through the day without crying. Grief isn't something to fix, it's something to carry. And if you don't give yourself room to feel it, you may end up carrying it in ways that hurt you later, through anger, shutting down, or even getting sick. So the very first thing you need to do if your spouse passes before you is this: stop. Let the loss in, even if it hurts. Let yourself cry. Talk about them. Say their name. Admit that right now, nothing makes sense. You don't need to have a plan. You don't need to act strong. You just need to feel, because that's where healing begins. And healing always starts with being honest, with yourself and with others. Number 2, reach out before the loneliness settles in. In the hours and days after your spouse dies, people will check on you. The phone rings, folks drop off food, cards come in the mail. But that doesn't last. After a while, the house gets quiet. The calls slow down, the visits stop, and if you're not careful, that quiet can turn into real, painful loneliness. That's why one of the best things you can do early on is reach out. Don't wait until the silence gets too loud. You don't have to say anything deep. You don't have to explain how you feel. You just need to let someone know you're here and that you could use some company. This doesn't mean you have to pour your heart out. You don't need to host guests or pretend you're okay. Just take one small step. Send a message. Pick up the phone. Answer when someone calls, because sometimes even the people who love you most don't know what to say, and they're afraid to bother you. If you wait for them to reach out first, they might not. Let's talk about Jim. He was 77 when his wife passed after a long illness. At first, his friends called every day, but he didn't feel like talking. He let the calls go to voicemail. He didn't want to repeat the story or act like he was okay. But after a while, the calls stopped. It wasn't until a neighbor knocked on his door a few weeks later that Jim realized how far he'd drifted. After that, he made himself a small promise: one phone call a day, just one real conversation. That little act became his lifeline. Grief tries to convince you that you're all alone, but reaching out reminds you that you're not. You don't even have to talk about the loss if you're not ready. You can talk about anything: your grandkids, a good memory, the weather. What matters is knowing someone's there, that someone cares. And if you don't have family nearby or worry about being a burden, remember this: there are grief groups, senior centers, and churches with people who will gladly sit with you, talk with you, or just be present. You don't have to go through this on your own. Reaching out isn't weakness, it's wisdom. The early days of grief are hard, emotionally, mentally, and even physically. Being around others, even a little bit, helps hold you up until you find your footing again. Number 3, take care of your body, even if your heart is hurting. Grief doesn't just live in your mind, it shows up in your body too. When you lose your spouse, your body goes into stress mode. You might feel tired all the time, or you might not sleep at all. You might forget to eat or not feel hungry. Your chest might feel tight. You may even feel sick. That's why, in the middle of all that sadness, you need to take care of yourself physically, even if it's just in small ways. You don't have to turn into a health nut or go running 5 miles a day. This is about the basics: drinking water, eating regular meals, getting a little fresh air, taking your medicine, and resting when you need to. Think of it this way: you're already carrying so much emotionally. If your body gets weak, it's even harder to handle the grief. But if your body has some strength, you'll be in a better place to face what's ahead. Let me tell you about Carol. She lost her husband suddenly after 40 years of marriage. For days, she barely ate. She just sat in her chair and cried. Her daughter brought over food, but she said, "I'm not hungry." Eventually, her doctor told her, "Carol, you're grieving. Yes, but your heart can't heal if your body is falling apart." So she made a tiny change. She started eating soup once a day, then toast and tea in the morning. Slowly, her energy returned. She still missed him terribly, but she wasn't as dizzy or drained. That made all the difference. So please, drink water, even if it's just a few sips. Eat something soft and easy. Walk outside, even if it's just to the mailbox. Your spouse would want you to stay strong, not to move on, but to stay standing. You deserve care too, and your body needs your kindness. So if this video is helping you, leave a comment below with the number 2. That way, I'll know you're here. And if you haven't yet, go ahead and subscribe and turn on the bell so you don't miss the rest of the steps. Your support helps us keep making these kinds of videos to comfort, support, and help you feel a little less alone.